And waiting for there we go. Here I am. Hey everybody, welcome to this week's Star Report. This is Jason. And I'm here due to Mitch's Crystals and Reiki in downtown Brenham, Texas, in the back room studio. Crystals in front of me, pictures of crystals behind me. All right, what is today? Today is May the 29th. And so this week's report from Wednesday to Wednesday is May 29th through June the 4th. As usual, we start with our, it's just a glare. I was like, oh, something's on my nose, but it's just the lights on my screen. We start with the sun because it's the closest star, and this is the star report, and it does the most things to the planet which affect us. So let's jump right in. There are sunspots that are beginning to be Earth facing. They're the same sunspot grouping, so those sunspots didn't go away. They're the same sunspot grouping that already has gone a full rotation around the sun that caused the May 10th solar activity in the stuff when that aurora came as far south. I think it was Puerto Rico. Um, so those are beginning to turn Earth facing. So they'll be, I think, center disk probably by the weekend, but they're definitely already starting to show Earth side. So the Earth located what do they call it? Camera satellite that's pointing towards the sun is now starting to see them sort of creep in. So pay attention for that. As of this recording, there's been weren't any eruptions or CMEs that came off of that or any other thing that were Earth directed. But there has been more study of all of that solar activity that happened to us on May the 10th, and that the CME damage from those storms was more significant. Like now it's been so significant, especially at a governmental level, that the government's asking for reporting, right? They're starting to collect the data rather than just noticing their own systems. They want to see how wide the system affect was. And any of you who happen to be in navigation, planes and or GPSs and stuff like that, those solar storms were even messing with that, and it's becoming harder to track the electrical effect on navigation, not only in the geolocation with the satellites, but with the wind patterns that are manipulated and are governed by electrical magnetic stuff that enters the atmosphere, which you might have noticed. There was a lot of extra storms around those auroras and that solar activity. So storm and wind and intensity and lightning increased during those. And let's see, also the ones that followed up, there was a couple of CMEs that erupted that were for less intense and less aurora causing, but just caused the intensification of storms as well. So the atmosphere is charged with electricity, and so the more electricity put into it, the more active that becomes. Magnetic fields and whatnot start to move and clash with each other, which causes even higher winds, right? So tornadoes get more intense and stuff like that. So perhaps the extra electricity in the atmosphere is to blame and not necessarily temperature. We are also, speaking of things that are affecting us, that's it for the sun, I think. Oh, wait. Is that what I put there? I think there was something in there. Oh, yeah. Uh, Look for continued increases in the solar activation or affect to things that you already have going on, right? So if you have heart issues, chronic ailments like a lupus or something like that that has flare ups, or spectrum disorders. I don't know if you call them disorders anymore, but spectrum issues, bipolar, depression, stuff like that, to be sort of have episodic triggers when the electricity is higher. So pay attention to that. Just the increase in general, right? So look for the bottom of those to be higher, right? So the energy becoming more charged because there's less protection from the Earth's magnetic field and pole shifting going on, that the calmness will be less, right? So you might have new norms of those intensifications. Act accordingly. Now moving on from the sun, I was like, there was something in here about physical stuff. We're in Gemini season still, so Castor and Pollux are still affecting things. Gemini, nerves, right? And so the nervous system really. This could be positive too, right? So look for this extra electricity this extra charge to be upgrading the system, right? So when you get new wires or you rewire a house and all of a sudden have more current, think of it as these are testing the wires or reactivating wires that are within the body. I know there's not wires in the body, but you know what I mean. Um, to sort of have more capacity and be able to handle the earth changes. It's like the body knows what it's doing. You just got to sort of notice that's what's happening and not sort of resist that. So it might be a weird feeling while it goes on. And of course, Gemini alchemically not only is linked to the nervous system, but also the spinal cord and brainstem. So just sort of think of like this, central cross, right? If you were going to put a cross on the back, not the front, but the back of you, just sort of think of that's where the energy goes, right? So top of the shoulders, down the spine. Sometimes it can activate or cure some sciatica because of all the current running through the spinal fluid and the spinal cord. So pay attention to that. We are still in Pluto retrograde. We'll be in Pluto retrograde, I believe, until October. So just understand that Pluto is going to help you understand your sort of suppressed hidden powers, even hidden knowledge, right? Things that you didn't know you were associated with, things you didn't know you knew how to do, talents you didn't know you had. And of course, Pluto is going to continue to help us heal from emotional wounds. One of the sort of things that sort of goes along with that healing, one of the biggest things that heals is forgiveness, right? Sort of that detachment of I'm no longer going to be energetically connected to the things that have wounded me. Pluto helps with that. And the understanding with this sort of revelation, this healing of old wounds, this forgiveness is also the idea of releasing the secretness or the secrets that you have. Because secrets all power, right? If you are afraid of something coming to light, if you bring it to light and you have an opinion on it, then it takes away people's power to sort of hold that over you. So think about grabbing your power by releasing, not necessarily on social media posts or out loud, but just sort of releasing that, maybe even just to yourself, that those secrets aren't as tragic as you think they are, and you actually have more power on the inside of you than you ever believed possible. Leads us into today, Wednesday. It is May the 29th. The energy that's affecting us today is really Mars and Pluto are combining to sort of help you formulate how your past is really your power, right? Um, there's an understanding that how what you feared as shame could free people if brought to light, right? So all of your trials and tribulations that you sort of like, oh, this bad stuff happened to me. If you sort of brought that to light, it could sort of help others that have had those kinds of things. But you also want to think of how your past is your power is that there is a pattern that is going on in your life. When you sort of recognize that pattern, right, you'll sort of see even in the things that were bad or things that happened to you, there's a pattern of what kind of power you actually have on the inside, which can help you out a lot. Moves us into so Mars, and of course, Mars sometimes is accompanied with a little bit of trigger energy, a little anger energy, a little war. um don't go to war with yourself, right? How do wars end? They end by treaty. So why don't you make a treaty with yourself and use both sides for good. Nobody has to lose the war, we could just end it. Good stuff. Thursday, May the 30th. Jupiter and Pluto are really going to combine for this expansive energy, right? So Pluto's still in retrograde, is why Pluto's there. Um, and this is the same iteration, right? So when you're identifying it and sort of formulating how your past is your power, Thursday is really how you can sort of expand that, which is the common pattern. Um, one of the things when you start to identify that stuff with this expansion of Jupiter, of abundance, of being able to be more than, is one of the energies or processes which you can use is gratitude, right? Gratitude is an energy that you're grateful that these negative things happen to you, because what they have is they've exposed, right? They've sharpened you, they revealed something deeper, right? Sometimes when you want to know what's below the surface, it needs to be cut, right? So these wounds, these things that you've been hiding from yourself, you can sort of reveal what they are. And that energy of gratitude to sort of have that self discovery is a great energy to sort of move forward and expand. That's the energy of Thursday. That sounds like an intense Thursday. I think I might stay home from work tomorrow. Excuse me, getting all riled up talking about this. Leads us into Friday, May the 31st, last day of May. Just sort of release what May was and keep moving. I believe in the sky that evening, you should see the moon and Saturn, and they should be in the sign of Aquarius. And so this is just sort of taking responsibility for your spirit. Like, what is this? Who is the soul at the core of all the stuff that you've been revealing about yourself, and what are its long-term goals? Right? Why did your soul choose you, this life, this body, these episodes in your life to sort of make things happen, and sort of pay attention to that. It leads us into June 1st, Saturday. Um, Really, that energy of Friday sort of drifts into Saturday, where you can sort of see who is this soul. It's at the core of you, right? There's the mind, there's the body, but then there's this operating system, which is it's governing them both, and which is even though you can sort of feel this, is the more real you. Um, who is that soul, and what is it trying to accomplish? That's a lot of smoke in my face. What is it trying to accomplish with you in this life, right? So your soul was born for a purpose. Your souls had a goal in mind, and perhaps it didn't cause, but it definitely arranged for you to have the ability to take the perspective for everything that's gone on in your life, to have a cumulative effect of awakening, of strengthening, of making you just in the right place when you discover your purpose to actually accomplish your purpose. So use the beginning of June, June the 1st, Saturday, to use to engage that energy. You can take that on into Sunday, June the 2nd, where the moon is going to be the closest to the Earth all month of June. Really, that's going to give you clarity on the field of play, and understanding it, right? So what is it's almost like you that understanding of of the soul is what chess piece you are. Like, what am I? Am I the king? Am I a rook? Am I a pawn? And none of those are better or worse. All of those have a part to play. The energy of the moon on Sunday is really okay. Now, what's on the chessboard? Like, what am I playing against? What's the terrain? That's the kind of energy that sort of bleeds over into Sunday. Monday, June 3rd, is something. It's not really an alignment, but it's something you can see in the sky, which kind of all looks in a line on the solar system ecliptic, or whatever that is, where you can sort of see stuff on the horizon. Um, I don't know what you call it right now in my head. I'm losing the vocabulary. So there's going to be 6 planets in the sky that you can see. I believe that's going to be somewhere before dawn, right? So probably the wee morning hours if you're going to get up and see it. And those planets are going to be Mercury, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune. But you also be able to see the moon a little bit, right? The moon's light will not be overshadowing that stuff. So you should see 6 heavenly bodies and the moon as well. So I guess that makes 7. Yeah, that's a lot of energy. Mercury, Mars, communication, travel, energy, anger. Jupiter, expansion, luck. Saturn is rules. Uranus, Neptune, deep spirituality, hidden talents, and then the moon, the capacity for those things to be active within, right? So it's almost like if I were to think about this would be a flushing out of the system. Like, here's all this energy, and sort of helps you kickstart the engine, maybe higher octane. It's almost like you're changing out regular gas for jet fuel, and see how it launches you into something new, and plus something cool to look at if you want to wake up that early and see it. I'll trust that the astronomers are correct and that you could actually see those things. I don't know if I'll be waking up. Of course, if it's up when I go to the gym in the morning, I'll see it. That leads us into Tuesday, last day of this week's report. uh, which really should be, if you're sleeping during that sort of a Monday thing when all that stuff happens, really sort of expect that that energy is going to come through in the theta range, right? That dream state the next day. And so these messages are going to feel like, or possibly be, from off planet or from a higher order, right? All of these heavenly bodies from outside of the Earth's orbit are going to be giving us alignments and energies, whether that be Greek mythology, Roman mythology, regular astrology, whatever flavor you like about that. Those energies are definitely arranged where, if this is a antenna or a Wi-Fi system, which is your soul here on the Earth with certain dials and allowances for those things to come in, those messages, those dreams are going to be of a higher order, right? Where you might have been thinking after all this soul discovery during the week, I think I'm here, right? And these messages are going to come in, or you could go here, right? So we have a tendency to think of ourselves as more mundane, as more flesh, as thinking smaller than our possibilities, right? And they use a lot of this talk in physical fitness kind of stuff, where when you give up, you actually really have about 60% more energy to give, right? So the body is trying to conserve energy and survive for an extended period of time, right? Think about your electric car wants to go on low battery mode so it can go farther. Your body has the tendency to do that too, and so does your operating system when you're thinking of what the possibilities are for your greatness, right? If you're thinking this big, you should probably think bigger, right? So if you like want to be mayor of your town, you should probably be thinking governor of your state, stuff like that, right? There's this order higher, and that message that's going to come in on Tuesday of next week is going to be that energy. I look forward to that energy because the rest of it seems kind of intense, and soul searching is sometimes hard. But we all do it because we are all divine eternal souls worthy of love and affection, and we all come from source. So maybe when we discover stuff about ourselves and we share it, others can discover stuff about them. And that's why I'm here. Hope you enjoyed this report. I'm getting weird here at the end. I don't know what's happening. Maybe I'm shifting. It's the sun. I blame it on the sun. Yeah, that's this week's report. I'm Jason here at New Dimensions Crystals and Reiki in downtown Brenham, Texas. NewDimensionsCrystals.com. Until next week, everybody, many blessings.